are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
Hello. Good morning.
Oh.
Italo with Italo's Black Talk Radio. And I actually have been lectured this morning by none other but that Eartha Kitt this morning. Actually, welcome Jenelle. By the way, I'm sorry.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. I'm very actually surprised. I actually didn't know
Why are you
that
surprised?
Eartha was Catwoman because I didn't realize who she was. I'm like, oh my God, of course I know who she is. And I just didn't
well, that's why you should come to my show.
Together. Yes. Love it. Yeah. You sound so much like her. Oh, wow. So, yes, this is Jenelle, or as she wants to be called, Eartha Kitt, because she's going to be doing...
Well, I try my best. I'm not her, but I try my best, and a lot of her story resonates with me in ways I probably can't even explain, but I try my best.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, yeah, when I was, doing some research, and I'm like, okay, so she did Santa Baby, and she was, of course, everybody knows her as Catwoman, even though she said, I was only there for 3 episodes.
Yeah,
which is surprising to me.
I don't think people know
like,
that.
Oh. Yeah, and I'm like, what? Only 3 episodes, and look how famous she became, because of that. And I guess it was an iconic role that she was. It's only been there for 3 episodes. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, an amazing story. But then tell us a little bit more. Why did you want to bring this to the Hollywood Fringe?
It's funny. I feel like I've been doing her voice a long time, but just, kind of one-liners and just to shock people, that kind of thing. And when I lived in New York, I had a friend, and she was living, this was probably like around 2006 or 7, maybe even 6 or 7. And I had a friend, we had done a show, and he was her assistant, and I used to call him on the phone, and I'd leave messages as her, and I would say, his name is Kevin Duda, and I would say, Duda, you didn't meet me today for lunch. Where are you? Things like that. And he would call me back and he would say, stop doing that. You're getting me in trouble. I thought it was her. And I didn't think of anything about it. I met her when she did 9. The musical 9. I did meet her, and as she was coming out, backstage, and I met her and shook her hand, and I really loved the cartoon Emperor's New Groove, and so skipping ahead, I was doing a show. I was doing Kiss Me Kate at Pasadena Playhouse, and with Wayne Brady, and I'm blanking on her name right now. She's on the TV series on OWN. And a friend of mine who has done the Fringe forever, he was like, he saw me reading her book. And at the time, I was writing it into a screenplay, and he said, you should do that at the Fringe. And I was like, I didn't have my producer hat on. I was, quote, just an actor. And so I just kind of pooed it and, thought it was bigger than me and didn't really know what the Fringe was and didn't know how to do it. And, again, I was in actor mode. That was my mindset. I was waiting for the phone, for someone to give me a job, not create a job. And I got to say, over the past couple of years, they've been rough. My manager died. I haven't had rep, and the phone has stopped ringing. And, again, I just kind of do her voice, kind of little one-offs, and just to make people laugh. I love to make people laugh. And then finally, I started kind of, if I was doing another project, I would because in 2017, I produced all of August Wilson's plays. And he has a century cycle, so we did 10 plays in 10 months. And as I was rehearsing his plays, I would just kind of fiddle around, and I did this video of Fences as Eartha Kitt. And people were like, oh, my God, you look like her, oh, my God. And I was just like, and just kind of put up a couple videos on Instagram, just playing around with it. And then again, I started realizing the phone is still not ringing. I'm not working. And then I realized you're going to have to create what you want to do. And I look back and I realized, wow, Ain't Too Proud, the Temptation story is on Broadway. The Tina Turner story is coming, just leaving London, and it's coming to Broadway later this year. Someone's doing Josephine Baker. They're doing our stories. And I'm like, why is Eartha Kitt not been told? She has a phenomenal story. It's never been a movie. It's never been people have done fringe shows, but it's never been a play or a musical. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I put it out on Facebook. I was like, hey, would you guys come to see a show if I did it at the Fringe? And I got 200 people saying, yes, absolutely. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to do this. So, again, out of nothing comes something. And you, as a creator, you just realize if you don't build it, they're not going to come. And no one's going to call me and say, hey, you look just like Eartha Kitt. We want you out of all the black girls in this town. I'm going to have to do it and do it on my terms. And that's just kind of, and the Fringe is shoestring budget. I mean, for me at least. I won't speak for anyone else, but for me, it's grassroots. It's, hey, I need your help. Can you help me produce this? Can you help me light this? Can you help me direct this? My best friend in the world is directing it. And once I put it out, I've got to say, people have been coming out of the woodwork to help me. It is humbling. It is incredible. It's incredible. I could talk all day about it, but that's kind of the germination of my journey with Eartha Kitt, and we're kind of smack dab in the middle of it because it's coming to the end of May, and our shows are in June, and the festival is starting soon, and so everybody's deep in rehearsals and tech runs and learning lines, and there are people still looking for PR, and I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign, and so we're in the thick of it. We're right in the middle. Yeah.
Actually, for those that are listening too, I posted the Indiegogo campaign right below. So if you want to support Jenelle into bringing Eartha Kitt's story, just go there, click on it. I think you're about 40% funded. That she needs to be fully funded. So come on, give us Eartha, because we need to see her story. So
I would like to
she's doing it. I was listening to some of the interviews, and they have this interview that was so painful to watch because the guy didn't know what to ask her, and she was so uncomfortable with him. I forget the guy's name, but I'm like, oh my God, does he even know how racist he sounds and how uneducated?
Which one is that?
Oh my God, I'm gonna look it up right now. But she was like letting him have it. I'm like, yes, you do that.
Yeah.
The guy has no idea who you are and what you've been through.
Yeah.
And I forgot the guy's name, but I'll look it up right now. But yeah, and some of the things. Oh, actually, Ryko Douglas.
Oh, okay. I have to look that one up.
Oh my goodness.
Because I've seen a lot of interviews.
Yeah, but she doesn't back down. She's like, I'm just gonna let it. And then she starts dancing in the middle of one, and I was just laughing this morning. I'm like, oh my God, she's awesome. She's so entertaining
she was
just to listen to. Yes, she was. But yeah, actually, and then what I was actually surprised about is her luncheon at the White House and how she was treated in. That's actually part of the history I didn't know about, actually. I was like, what? What happened?
So that kind of is where my show kind of starts. We kind of start with that because she was blacklisted for 10 years. So, and the headline was Eartha Kitt makes Lady Bird Johnson cry at a White House luncheon. And she was invited to this luncheon and to talk about, juvenile delinquency in America. And it's documented in several interviews that when she got there, all they wanted to talk about was how to make, to be honest with you, looking back on it, she probably was saying how we can make America great again. And because all she wanted to do was like plant flowers in Washington, D.C. and how to make it beautiful. You know what I mean? So that's essentially what she was saying is let's make America great again. And Eartha, with her outspoken self, and, told her that's not why we're here. I thought we were here to discuss, X, Y, and Z, and I, we shouldn't be in the Vietnam War and that kind of thing. And so the headline was she made Lady Bird Johnson cry, and a couple hours later, she was blacklisted, and President Johnson, said, I don't want to see her on the networks. So, the next 10 years, and not to say that the next 10 years she didn't eat or she didn't work or she didn't do anything, but in the mainstream, and you're used to doing movies and you're used to, you're a celebrity, to go from doing movies to now, doing the Fringe, if you will, that's a big jump. So she went overseas and she had more work and more love overseas, and then it wasn't until Geoffrey Holder asked her to be in his production of Timbuktu that brought her back to the States and brought her back to the broad audience, if you will. And so people were like, where have you been? What have you been doing? And she was nominated for a Tony for that role. So that really put her back on the map, and from there she was just unstoppable, So
Right. No, that's actually a great story. And actually, like you said, there's not a single movie or biography or play about her. And I was surprised this morning. I'm like, whoa, okay, wow. Let me put this into this interview. And she's an amazing woman and the most exciting woman in the world, as described by Orson Welles.
Welles.
I guess he put her on the map back then. And then when she's asked, what do you think about Orson Welles? And she's like, well, yeah, I was young and whatever, but he didn't make me. People think like, oh, well, he made you into what you are. It's like, no, he didn't.
He gave her a
attitude
chance.
that people have. He gave her a chance.
He opened the door, and I think as artists, that's what we need is just for one person to open the door and say, I see something in you, and I'm going to give you a chance. I think that's what anybody needs, actually. And so that story in itself is universal. No matter if you are an executive assistant in an office or you're an artist or whatever you are, you just need one person to say, I see something in you and I'm going to give you a chance. As young people coming out of college, we just need one job. That one job leads to more jobs. So, essentially he just saw something in her, gave her a chance, and she did what was in her to do. And she shined, and work begets work, and she kept on working and made a name for herself. But he didn't, he didn't make her, but he gave her a chance. And so, I
hate when people say it's like, oh, I discovered you. It's like, what?
I've been here all the time.
I already knew who I was before you even met me.
Right.
So what are you talking about?
Right. You gave me a chance. You didn't discover me.
She really was talented before. She was a singer, a dancer. I think her take on Catwoman was more of a like the show was. The show was pretty much a parody, I think. So she just took it as that. It's like, well, it was just a parody, and she kind of did it perfectly. And so. Yeah, but her attitude was like, hey, it's just me, and I'm going to give you the show of your life, and watch out. And she was awesome. I like her. I'm like, okay, I want to see more about the story. So this show, for those that are listening, it's actually on sale now. Like I was saying, it's going to be on Studio C, right on Santa Monica Boulevard. There's 3 shows, so I'm sure It's going to be sold out, hopefully, and
I'll take that.
we're going to have, so please come support because, like she said, we need. It's like a grassroots. The Fringe Festival is because we're not funded by anybody. We're all sole producers.
Yes.
And we need
Calling
people
on
support.
favors.
We need people. Yeah, exactly. But come watch it, and because it's going to be an amazing show. As you already heard this morning when she opened, I'm like, wow, this sounds so much like Eartha. Oh my God. That's amazing. So how has the process been like producing it and now directing it, or you said somebody has directed it for you?
Yeah, one thing I don't do is I don't direct myself. I'm not that good. I'm not Tyler Perry.
Right.
It's been. I have to say it's been rough. It's been incredible, but it has been rough. And what I mean is, it's been incredible in the sense that once I put it out in the world, once I put it out in the universe, once I put it literally on Facebook and said, this is what I'm going to do. Once I made up my mind, the first person to instant message me on Facebook said, I've worked with you in another show, but he was doing like sets and scenery and that kind of thing, and so we didn't actually meet, but we worked on the same show. And he sent me this long email. He's like, I want to work on the show with you, and I just love Eartha Kitt, and I think you'll be And I was like, oh, my God, I don't even know if I can afford you yet, And it seemed to me very early on that he knew everybody. And he knew how to get things done. I said, if you'll work with me, I would like you to co-produce with me because you know people that I don't know, and you'll help put everything, in order and in line. And so I quickly hired, his name is Olin de la Paz, and we worked on Carrie together. I did Carrie downtown at La Mirada Theater a couple years ago. And then I knew that I wanted my best friend, Yvonne Jourdain. He's also an actor, but he is a fantastic director. I knew I wanted him to direct because we do things on our own. I have a studio in my apartment, and we do self-tapes, and I bring my friends over, and we direct each other and, that kind of thing. When we're not, quote, working for money, we do things on our own. And he just was a natural director and a natural choice. And so in that sense, everything has come together. A friend of mine I haven't worked with in 20 years, literally the first show I came out of college, and he was my music director for a show called Beehive back in Richmond, Virginia. I found him on Facebook. He's out. He lives out here now. Now he's my music director. Everybody has come in. Everybody has literally fallen into place. And so that part has been very enjoyable, very easy, if you will. What has been hard for me is that I took on the job of writing this show. I'm executive producing the show, and I'm in the show. So that means that, the producing, like I said, I did the August Wilson thing 2 years ago, so I know how to produce, and that's my natural lane. I love telling people what to do and giving them the money to do it. I love that. And I'm natural on stage as an actor. But what I've never done is I've never written. And so the most humbling, the most stressful thing is the writing part because I have to be honest, I'm afraid. I don't know if the audience is going to be bored, if they're going to, I want them to say, oh, the writing was good too. I don't want it to be flat and just say, oh, she looked and sounded like Eartha. Oh, the songs were great. I want the story to be compelling as well. So, when you said about the Fringe, it's all self-production. So all day, every day, while I'm on my 40-hour-a-week job, I'm looking at my phone because I'm afraid if I don't post this, I'm not going to get the money. If I don't go in this chat room, I'm not going to find out where to get a lighting person. If I don't, go on Instagram and post this thing, I'm going to. And so it's real FOMO. I feel like I'm going to miss out on something. And finally, I just said, you know what, I need Olin to do some of this stuff for me because I'm driving myself crazy. And I kept doing all these rewrites and hadn't learned what I've written. So I'm like, okay, this is crazy. We got a week to test run. So I now need to learn what I have written. No more rewrites. Let's do what we've let's do it and see what we have, and then we can tweak. But you got to put something down to know what you got.
Right.
So I will never do all three again. I will produce something or someone.
Yeah.
I might even be in it, but I'm not going to write it, produce it, and be in it. I can't.
Yeah.
It's a lot, especially when you have another job that's, they don't know it, but they're the benefactors.
Pays the bills.
They don't know it, but they are. I thank God for that job. So, you can't let that one go by the wayside because I'm doing a little show at the Fringe.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but actually, it's actually true because actually I'm co-producing with another show, and her show is about the Little Prince. But she's my friend from last year, and then she's actually directing and acting and producing. But I'm like, I'm gonna need to help you because I already knew, and she already found out last week. She's like, I am a producer, aren't I? I'm like, yes, because now you have to go to this, office hours. You have to meet the people. You have to get to know people. You have to talk about your show every single minute. It's not easy. It's not easy to self-promote. It's not easy to go out there even if you're not having a good day. It's not easy when you have to learn the lines and you have to rehearse. Yeah. It's not, it's a lot to do. So
it's a lot.
I decided to help her, but it is, and I'm also doing my job as a Lyft driver because I'm like, I got to pay some bills. So it's hard to do, so many roles. And the Helen of Fringe is wonderful. There's a lot of supportive people out there, but it's still very stressful, like you said.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sure this will be an amazing show. I give you kudos for making it this far. And your show will be, let me see, it's going to be 3 shows. It's going to be one in June 16th, June 22nd, June 27th. The link for her show is below as well, so you can click on the links below, and then you can just either go buy the tickets, or you can go to the Indiegogo as well to support your local artists. And of course, come see the show. Come see her because. So you're going to be singing as well as acting, or it's going to be?
Yes, I'm singing live. So no track. No, I'm not singing, no lip singing. It is me. So, and my director just added another song. So I've been sitting up this morning learning another song. So, I'm singing live with a live. I don't have a full band. I didn't want to do that this time around. The more people you add, the more people that you have to not only finance, but the more people you have to finagle when it comes time for rehearsal. And is everybody, free? Is everybody open? Is everybody available? So I have my music director is Ron Barnett. Like I said, I've worked with him for 20 years ago. And he's also doing like 3 or 4 other shows at the Fringe. So he is completely busy. He's going from show to show to show, but he's fantastic. Yeah. And, so I'm singing live.
Wow. You should actually meet with this other actress. She's doing Moms Mabley story. It's called Notorious Moms. It's gonna be right on the same. She's gonna be in the Fly Theater, so that's like in the complex. But and she's doing her because she also said she's like, nobody has ever told her story. And another amazing woman because she was groundbreaking for her time as Eartha was. So there's many people that go they go unsung heroes because like you say, Eartha Kitt had to go to France. She had to go somewhere else, and although all over the world, she's been all over the world. She says. Because she was blacklisted here, so but she always wanted to come back. This was her country, and she was a Cherokee, and she's very rooted here, and so it's an incredible story and one that has to be heard. I'm sure by a lot of people. No, I didn't know her, so I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty cool. I'm learning something every day. It's amazing. It's
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
Yeah. And is there any other way they can connect with you on Facebook or Instagram? Whoever wants to follow you on.
I
How
am
do they do
on Instagram, and I'm pulling it up now so I don't say the wrong name. I'm on Instagram at Jenelle, Jenelle Randall, Randall, and I believe Twitter is the same, at Jenelle L. Randall.
Okay.
And so Facebook, I actually have two pages. My normal page is Janelle.Randall, but my Eartha Kitt page is Facebook.com/Eartha Still Slays. So that's where you can see any videos of me doing her and any little self videos and anything like that. So anything having to do with the show. I mean, anything having to do with me doing Eartha is on the Facebook page.
Mhm. Now, do you do any research when you were doing when you were writing the piece? Because I just did it this morning, like very quickly, but there are so many things that she's okay.
Because when you get on YouTube, you go down a rabbit hole.
I know, right?
Yeah, so you go to watch one video, and I thought I had seen them all, and then I see like another interview, and then that interview takes you to another interview, and then you kind of get away from it a little bit. You click one thing, and then you go back through another rabbit hole. So I actually been doing research about her for years now. Like I said, I read her book, Confessions of a Sex Kitten, and it's called I'm Still Here, Confessions of a Sex Kitten. And that's what that was the impetus. That's what made me go, oh my God. I couldn't read it all at one time because it begins really, really sad. She was picked cotton on a cotton plantation in South Carolina. She didn't know her father. She's biracial. She didn't know her father. Her mother gave her away, and because the boyfriend or whoever she wanted to marry, didn't want quote a high yellow gal in the house, and so she didn't. She illegitimate and didn't feel wanted. And so finally, someone from New York, like an aunt, sent for her and brought her up to New York, which is what changed her life. And being, New York would change anybody's life, but, it changed her life. She went to live with an aunt in New York, and this was the time of the Nicholas brothers and Ethel Waters. Everybody was coming up in that time, and she started dancing with Katherine Dunham. And that, if anybody discovered her, it's Katherine Dunham. She knew of Katherine Dunham because of the movies, and then she got an opportunity to audition for her as a dare, and she got a scholarship. That's what, quote, made her. So she started as a dancer. And then, the Katherine Dunham troupe took them overseas. Once she was overseas, that's how Orson Welles met her, because she was already there. So you see what I mean? So one thing led to something else, which led to something else, and then you have this incredible icon. So, but her story, like I said, I started reading that book, and I couldn't put it down, but it started off so gut-wrenching. But I love I love the story of an underdog where somebody just comes out of nothing and makes something of themselves. Those kind of stories get me every time. And I just started watching YouTube interviews and just reading more and more and more and more, and listening to her songs, and it's just couldn't put it down. So I hope the show is as interesting and fascinating as she truly was.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. She was also very controversial. So you have to. Yes. You have to see her because she spoke her mind.
Yes.
To a fault, and but hey, that's back in the '60s, that was unheard of. So yeah, I mean, if she could do that, But yeah, on stage she was really cool. She was amazing. I was even looking at this cheesy '80s video. It was so cheesy, and I think the song was "I'm Still Here" or something. Maybe.
Wait a minute, which one?
It reminds me of Olivia Newton-John's "Physical," the song "Physical."
Was it? Was it "I Love Men," something like that?
No, it wasn't. I don't know. But anyway, she turned him into Cat. She was supposed to be this evil. It was so cheesy, but I gotta give it to her. She was a diva even in that video. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But yeah, I mean, she was an icon that very actually it's called "I Don't Care." The song's called "I Don't Care."
Oh, okay. I don't even know that song. Okay, great. Now I've got something else to research.
I know, right?
I love it.
And I just had like 10 minutes, or no, actually more. I had like an hour to look at it. I'm like, what is this? And it's called "I Don't Care." It's on YouTube, and
hilarious.
all these men that are looking for her, and then she turns them into cats. You're gonna love it.
Okay, you just gave me something else to. Okay, great.
Sorry.
Okay. No, I love it. I love it. The only thing I'll give, I don't want to give anything away, but the only song I can say that I'm going to sing is "I Want to Be Evil." So that's how that's definitely in the show. But anything else, I'm not going to give it away because I want people to be surprised.
Right. So actually, speaking of that song, I'm gonna actually be playing that at the end of this show.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can hear in her own voice. But actually, it's not just her voice. You have to really see her because it's one thing to hear the song, but then if you go to YouTube and type in "I Want to Be Evil" by Eartha Kitt, she's got this expression on her face, and she's like doing the Catwoman with the hands and to the camera.
Yes.
Even before she became, I don't know if she probably had already done Catwoman back then. I don't know.
She did Catwoman right around 67.
Oh, okay, so this probably was. I don't want to play yet because we're still talking. But anyways, just to wrap it up because we already have the song that I'm going to be playing at the end. But I do want to remind people, once again, Hollywood Fringe Festival is 400 shows. So there's a lot to see, a lot to look for. But if you go to Studio C, which is right in the middle of Theater Row, right next door to that is Fringe Central. So if you come see Eartha Kitt story, yeah, you are. So that's what I'm saying. Like you can come see Eartha Kitt, but then if you have doubts as to what else to see, come see the people at La La Land Gallery. They're gonna guide you through the whole festival. There's 400 shows. 50% of them are done by female playwrights. So if you're, if you're into, the women movement in Hollywood,
diversity.
Go ahead. They have a lot of diversity. LGBTQ is represented as well at the festival. So come see it. It's exciting just to be. And this show is actually, I don't even know how much is the show, but it's worth seeing it. Yeah.
My show is $20.
So come see it because it's going to be, music. Is there going to be any dancing or just?
There might be a little dancing, maybe.
Okay, I'll leave that Okay. I'm having so much fun with you. So yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yes. So yeah, come check that out. Come check out Eartha Kitt and other stories. Like I said, and I'm gonna put everything below. But if you want to be updated, because I'm trying to do as many shows as I can before opening night, which is on June 6th. So if you please click on below where it says Facebook page, I have a Facebook page where I posted every episode that I've done so far. including
Okay.
this one. So check it out, like the page, and then share it on Facebook because we want to support local artists. And like I said, the Indiegogo campaign will be there too on the link. Anything else I'm missing, Eartha?
No. You've touched on it all. Live music, live singing, live dancing. It's not a solo show, so I must stress that it's not a solo show. I have one other person in the show helping me tell her story. So I have a cast.
Oh.
Yes.
Did not know that.
I didn't want to do a solo show.
Oh, okay. So how many people in the cast?
Full disclosure, that I started off, I wrote 3 because I wanted to include people like Sammy Davis Jr. and Nat King Cole and Harry Belafonte, the black story, the black part of her story, if you will. And I was having problems casting. And I was like, oh, God, I don't want anybody to be mad and think that I, didn't tell the other side of her story. And then it just dawned on me, well, nobody's paying for this yet. So I got to tell the story that I have access to. So I have my co-star, his name is Daryl Phillip, and He's helping me tell the story without giving away too much. He's helping me tell her story. So it's not a one-person show.
Okay.
And that's yeah. So technically, there's 3 of us on stage. We have a live piano player, Ron Barnett, and Daryl Phillip is my co-star, and then there's me. And we portray different characters in her life. So. Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that because I think people think, by nature that it's a solo show, and it's not at all.
Okay, I'm going to change the synopsis because I thought it was a one-woman show.
Oh, no.
I'm glad that you said that. Okay.
Now, it's one woman as in I'm the only woman there, but no, I've got a cast. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good to know. And like I said, many
I like to be
wish
surrounded
you
by
nothing
men.
but success. Yes. Eartha did.
Yes.
Great. Yeah, she was out there. But yeah, check it out. And I do want to check it out with Eartha Kitt herself. She's waiting backstage because she wants to be evil. But I do want to thank Jenelle for calling this morning, sharing your story. I wish you'll get 100% funded by the end of this week, hopefully by the end of next week, because we need to have more stories, not only stories of icons like Eartha Kitt, but many more stories. So, come see it, come support. And I do want to thank you once again, and I'll see you around.
Thank you so very much for this opportunity. It has been a great morning, great Saturday morning. If you guys come to the show, please stop me, take a picture. I'm going to try my best to go next door and go, take pictures with the step and repeat. And I'd love to meet all of you, and I thank you in advance. If you donate, I thank you. If you check out my page, I thank you. If you come to the show, I thank you even more. And I can't wait to meet you all.
Oh, I'm proud of her. Right.
Thank you so much, Victor.
You're very welcome. Laughing so hard. Okay, here's Eartha.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.